Hi, Dynamic Di here. Been a little while. I wanted to get on really quick, not just to kind of come back and say hey, since I know I've been kind of busy, but also there was a question that was asked today in one of my groups that was a really good question, and I ended up responding to her, and I thought I should share it with you because this is something that should motivate all of us. But for you single moms out there that are struggling, just remember again that you're not alone. That's what the sisterhood is for your single moms. But she asked, what do you do when you're not motivated? And her reasoning behind it is she's newly divorced for the past 9 months from a 41-year marriage. Like, that's rough. And found out that, he had been cheating for quite some years in between that. So it ended up where she's at now. And she's had a week off of work and she's just been wallowing in her situation, wallowing in, what's happened now that she has the time, and she's, you know, been driven into even more depression, and yet she doesn't know what to do. And depression is an area that unfortunately I'm all too familiar with, very, very bad, dark place that took me down a road that I do not want for any of you. And you single moms out there that think you're solo, that's why I strive for what I do now, because you're not. And it led me to a lot of bad things, including, suicidal tendencies and being, abused and in situations that I couldn't get out of because I didn't have that self worth. And that's what I heard in her question, It's not just that she wasn't motivated, it's the fact that she's had a week off and she's done nothing about it. She mentions that she just sat at home. She hasn't even showered. She just TV binged and sat around. So I told her, I was like, it starts with building your better pattern, building the better you. So first, get up and shower and rejuvenate. You know, People will be surprised, but for me, water is a big deal. I love the water, and it's just a meditative thing for me. So I promote that. And definitely, if you're sitting around TV binging, you need to get up and clean up yourself and be motivated to even just want to take care of yourself. And that was a huge thing in the midst of depression, is when you are going down a very dark path. The certain signs are not just isolation and knowing that you're depressed or crying about it or whatever those for sure signs are, but it's actually those signs that you don't want to recognize, which is when you start lack of taking care of yourself. So again, I told her that to go out there, take your shower, rejuvenate yourself, do something new with your hair, style your hair in a different way, wear a really nice outfit, even though you may be going nowhere. I'm actually very dressed down today, which for me, but it's because I usually do make sure I get up and dress and do what I need to do. So I was like, I'm going to have my dress down day today. And so I thought it was funny that for me telling her to dress up. And that's the reason, though, is because you want those days where you just know you're good, and to move forward from there, to take her time to trade the TV time to read a book and journal. And one of the things about depression is you don't want people to know just how bad it goes. And when you're a single mom, especially, you certainly don't want to reach out and tell everybody, because you don't want the judgment. You don't need the typical things that are being told to you to do that work in areas when you do have a partner, or when you do have backing, or certain types of financial backing, or family backing, or any whatever it may look like for you. And some single parents, they just don't see it like that, or they don't have that resource to do it in that way. And when you're in a depressive state, anything that's being said to you sometimes comes back very negatively. So after doing that, I told her, make sure you journal it. Even if it's negative, just journal it down, read a book to help your mind to actually just change your thoughts. Because when you're reading, you don't realize it, but subconsciously you're taking those words in and that positivity in. So make sure it's not, a horror book or anything like that, like an actual motivated, good book that's actually going to educate you and help you. Maybe do something that you didn't think that you'd end up doing, which is why you bought the book and now it's sitting on the shelf, kind of thing. And journal is a big deal. Now, writing it down, and then I let her know, after you write it down, make a list of everything that she did that week that she didn't get done. Like everything that she could have accomplished that she just didn't get done. And I know that sounds like a backward thing, because like if you're in depression, why would you want to write it all down? But the outcome of that is you write it all down. I don't care how long it takes you. I don't care how many pages it takes you. But if you do that, and this is something I've done, and it's a really hard thing to do, because once you start writing it down and going through, you realize, that's not even your story. It's just the things that you can do for the week. It's just the things how many things you've let go by in just a week's time, let alone your story and how bad the depression is getting. So when you do that and you recognize those things, you write them down, now they can get rid of. When it's out of here, and then when it's out of here and it's something tangible, you can get rid of it. Paper can be thrown away, things can be tossed aside. But out of her list, I told her, take the top, 10 to 15 things that you wanted to get done. I don't care how many pages it takes or how long it took, whatever you wrote down, those 10 to 15 things that you just know you wanted to get done. And out of those things, take the top 5 that are priorities that have to get done. Like, those are the needs. Out of those that, narrow down 10 to 15. And out of those 5, that doesn't mean you just try to push them all today. And that's our problem. We always think that we have to do it today. And even my mentorship went through a discussion, which I am guilty of consistently sometimes, where I catch myself, which is why I'm so glad I'm where I'm at, to catch it. And discernment is, building on perfectionism, which actually just, for me, builds procrastination. Don't do that. So in order to do that, these are the steps I had taken, so many years back, that it works. And so I'd let her know, do those things, take those 5 top things out of the, 10 to 15 that need to be done. And then out of those things, just work your way through. Pick the top 3 that you can absolutely probably do, or at least try to start if you can't complete today. Just that's it. And then through the week, get those done. When those 5 are done, and then as you're going through, once you finish your whole, 10 to 15, then move on back to that master list of all the things that you've missed out on, and go back and do the same thing. Pick another 10, drop it down to the 5 that are necessary, and then drop that down to the 2 or 3 things that you can do that day. And you'll be surprised at how that little step will overcome a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety that you may be harboring and holding. For her to be divorced for 9 months and it only hitting her now, it's probably because she continually made herself active. She probably had things that she had to go through, different court, closings that she had to deal with. Maybe the moving and him moving or her moving, I don't know. But those kinds of things, once they settle, and now that she had that week to just sit, it hits you. And just know that you're not by yourself. So this is Dynamic Di from Fierce Single Moms, that if you're struggling with being motivated today, take the time out to encourage yourself. Take the time out to, laugh at something that you haven't watched in a while. Sit with your kids and watch a cartoon. Those kinds of things. And then just go through step by step the little things that that you need to get done. And, decide out of those things, what is the need and what is the want. And how bad do you want it? Because every small step will conquer the mountain. But you got to be willing to take the step. So have a great day. Let's get it.